Hello, guys. I hope you didn't think I forgot about you. I just had a meeting that went a little too long.
You
Can you
didn't.
guys hear me? Oh, okay. I see some other persons coming in. All right. All right. Hello, one and all. Yes. Apologies for the time. I just had a meeting that went a little bit overboard. All right. So, let's see. We're supposed to look at some tips and ideas for your assignment. So, first, let's take a look on the assignment. All right. You guys can see my screen okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, great. All right. So, um, at the end of 2018, Montego Bay represented approximately 5% of Jamaica's population, accounting for roughly 71% of the parish capital residents. So, in all of these, you have some amount of percentages. So at some point, you might have to represent something that's out of 100, some kind of graph, mostly some kind of pie chart, maybe. So that is the chart section of it. So we're going to talk a little bit about charts. And then there is the creativity part, which that part I have to leave you guys up to figure out on your own, right? The part with creativity. So let's start with the most popular option. What is the most popular software out there now for doing this kind of thing? I heard everybody say everybody use PowerPoint. So let's start with that. All right, cool. I figure that most people are comfortable with using PowerPoint, you know, where the controls are and all of these things. Who do we have here? Oh, we only have like a few people here. Okay. Which person is very familiar with PowerPoint that would describe to us how do we add charts in PowerPoint? Anybody? Let me open this question for everybody.
So I think you have to insert, I believe.
Uh-huh.
Insert tab. And from there, you have the chart option up by illustrations.
Right. So we go to charts, right?
Yes.
All right, cool. And then we choose the type of chart, right? Hey, this is new. This wasn't here last time I was here. They get interesting every day. But anyway, I'm gonna just pick one. Let me pick a pie chart. And of course I can pick 3D or 2D. Pick a 3D one because the 3D one looks nicer. All right, and there you have the chart there. Cool. So I'm hoping that hopefully most, if not everybody, has kind of done this already. It's kind of straightforward. And when you do this, notice you get a little table here that you can change stuff with the chart. So for example, let me choose a blank slide so I can get rid of that. So we can, for example, change let me see, go into the chart options. Change chart type. Yeah, chart type. No, I don't want to. Oh, right. Oh, they give you different kind of samples to choose from. Forgive me, I don't normally do charts in PowerPoint, but And I'm hoping that for this assignment, maybe everyone is not using PowerPoint. But the point that I want to get across is that if you do use PowerPoint, whenever you get the right chart that you want, and I want to take this chart into Photoshop or Illustrator, how do I take it from PowerPoint into these programs? Anybody?
Sir, maybe you export as a PDF. Sure.
Aha! That's a good plan. And the reason that we use PDF is why not use JPEG?
Well, JPEG doesn't give you like vectors, but sometimes PDF give you vector. But the ability to control vectors.
Exactly. And the reason we want to do that, if we look at our example here, here we go. Some of these examples, whenever you get a, like, let's say that, let me go back to our steps. If you remember the steps that we go through, right? Make sure you have your data. Select the type of diagram. So you say, okay, I've selected a pie chart. That is my diagram. Look for visual opportunities, right? So this is where you're supposed to lay this thing out in a sketch. So let's say I was talking about a building. Let me try and just make up something on the spot. Like, let's say that I was you guys are dealing with towers now in your towers project, right? So let's say you had a tower. Let's say this was my tower here, right? So this is the ground and this is a tree. Oops, that's way out of scale because it's a tower. So my tree would be maybe about that big, right? So these are my trees here. Forgive me, I'm drawing with the mouse. And let's say that you wanted to represent this as like a pie chart, right? So it's like, here are your percentages, and it's, your tower is a pie chart. So then this what you're seeing here is the opportunity, right? Remember we talk about identify an opportunity. So your opportunity here is that, I want my tower to be my pie chart. I want it to be like a diagram. All right, fine. So after you identify the opportunity, let's say this, you want this to be a feature in your infographic. Then the next thing I usually say is to find an example of a reference, a visual, a theme, an infographic that's already like created, so it can kind of inspire you as things like, what color am I going to make this, or what outline is it, what background am I going to use, what type of fonts, text am I going to use, like, just having an idea that I want to have my tower displayed as a pie chart is just like an idea, but you need more information to carry the infographic to life. So this is why in step 3 I said that find a website that has examples of these things, and one of them that I recommend is Visme. Visme is pretty cool. You can go to templates. You don't have to buy any other templates because you just need an idea, and there are many other websites apart from Visme that you could use, right? But you could do a search. What type of infographic? I don't know. Let's diagrams. I don't know if I'm gonna find the one that I am looking for.
So again,
Yes, go ahead.
so it's supposed to be seen a split screen or one screen.
Oh, there. Hold on, you're not seeing my screen.
Yeah, I'm seeing it, but I'm also seeing like another screen as well with
Oh, hold on.
some
Oh, Are you seeing it now?
No,
Yeah,
it's
it's
off
full
now.
screen now. It's full screen.
You see, this is why I usually connect with my phone as well, so that I can see what you are seeing. There we go. There we go. Okay, yeah. So I can see that you're seeing it good. Right. So you can go here to get inspiration. Another cool place you can also go is, of course, Pinterest, right? Everybody here should be Pinterest fans, right? So, right, and Pinterest has some cool infographics here, you know, some ideas there, and one idea leads to another. Oh, this one is cool. So basically what you're looking for here is things like, look at the color of the background, look at the colors of the shape, so you can get an idea of what kind of color structure you want to use, the theme, the overall theme, right? Because you don't want to just have that diagram just floating in the middle of nowhere, right? I think this is getting to closer to what I want. Do you look at that? So let's say I wanted to use this theme. And here are some other interesting ones here. Yeah, don't you just love Pinterest? You can just find inspirations of what you want real quick. So if this was my inspiration, come on, let it load. There's a problem. Oh Lord. There is a problem. Let's try that again. Let's drag that over, and yep. All right. So let's say that this is the inspiration that I used, and you know, this is my tower here, and I want it to look like this. So now you have your idea, you have your theme. So all you need to do now is produce. Like, so you might say to yourself, okay, what am I going to use to generate these graphs, right? I mean, it's in 3D, so maybe some of you would be like, well, I'm going to model it in SketchUp. And is there anybody here who would instantly jump to a 3D program?
SketchUp is the easiest thing to use looking at this, sir, as we speak.
All right, fair enough. And I guess maybe there are other persons as well. But of course, SketchUp doesn't generate charts, right? So I mean, if you generate a chart with where is it? With PowerPoint. Here we go. You can easily edit this chart. Now, granted, I don't think you can tweak this chart to let it look like that. You can probably get a little close, but not exactly like that. And this is the reason why I want to encourage you guys now to start to use a graphical program, you know, like a Photoshop or Illustrator. I'd put Illustrator first and then Photoshop, because like Illustrator was built to do infographics, just like how Photoshop was built to edit photos, right? I mean, you can quote unquote edit photos in Illustrator, but you're gonna have a warm time. You can edit photos in PowerPoint, right? Anybody ever edit photos in PowerPoint here?
No, sir.
Yes, sir.
What do you mean? PowerPoint have a little thing going for it. Right. PowerPoint have a little thing going for it. I mean, if I let me just grab a picture. Let's try to find a random picture here. Hopefully it's nothing incriminating, you know. Yeah, here we go. This is not incriminating. Oh, that's horrible. Okay. Let's pull it over here. Right. So this is a photo of myself here. And if I have this in PowerPoint, I can go to like one of these picture things here and go to correction, and I can try different brightness. I can go to color here and I can add different effects. You know, I can add all of these effects. I mean, and I can go to artistic and add like, ooh, that looks dreamy, right? Blur and all these things. So yeah, but I mean, for those of you who use Photoshop, you'll be like, well, you know, these are some quick little Instagram edits. But you might say that I can do much more in Photoshop, right? And it's the same thing with infographics, right? Illustrator was built to do infographics, but you can do it in other programs. Now, if you do it in other programs like PowerPoint or what's the other one, or Excel, yes, you can export it. And if you want to do it this way, definitely export it as a PDF. So in this case, I'm going to export it as a PDF. And I'm going to do it to I'm just doing it to the desktop for this example. Call this AC2 for graphics. And I'll just export it here. There we go, and exporting as a PDF. And then if I open up Illustrator, let's open a new page in Illustrator. That's a PDF of it there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab where did I put it? Here it is. All right, and there's my PDF. Now at least what I could do is I can embed this PDF here, and then I can ungroup it. Oops. And then I can release clipping mask. Still have more. Release clipping mask. There I go. And I can get down to the actual graphics that make it up. I can now click these guys here. Can I move it? Oh, I have to release clipping mask again. Hold on. It's all bundled up when you export it. I gotta do it again. Is it that? Oh, hold on. Oh, this is actually an image. Oh, it's not vector. Oh no. I thought that it would have done it as a vector, but it didn't. Oh boy. Anyway, of course, some of you might go the route of taking it into Photoshop. And then you know, you might want to recolor these, so you might use
Sir, I was going to tell you that it's not a vector, but I thought you were going to figure out something.
Oh well, well, if this happens to you, you can get it out as a vector, man. So don't worry. If you're hoping for a solution, let's see where we went wrong, right? So I think there are two options. Let me see. Save as. You have export, and then we chose PDF. I'm going to use the option to save as Adobe PDF. Because sometimes if one export doesn't work, you try another one. Let's see if this one is any different. Nope. This is still vector, fortunately.
So can you save as a SVG?
let's see. I was gonna go to that next. Let's look on the export. Fortunately not. But guess what? The reason that it's probably doing this is because we chose the 3D option. So for example, let's where are you? Change chart type. No. There we go. Ooh, they have some fancy ones now. They didn't used to have these. Okay. That's pretty cool. Okay. But I want to change it from 3D. Okay, maybe I have to like change the chart type. And then choose pie chart and go again. Yeah, probably have to do that. All right, and let's export this now to PDF. Ah, you see, this is now vector. So, carry that in here, and I'll do the same thing again. I will embed it and ungroup and release clipping mask. Release clipping mask. And there we go. So now we're down to the vector. Now, the reason why we bring it in Illustrator is because we have a little bit more creativity with Illustrator. And also some templates and icons that you download, you might want to use Illustrator as well. So for example, let's look back at our example here. Well, this doesn't have any icons, unfortunately. But let me just jump to this quick. If I was going to do this, the reason I would use Illustrator before jumping to like SketchUp is that let's check out the chart feature in Illustrator. So let's put this to the side. All right. And now if you don't see the chart icon here, depending on the version of Illustrator you're using, you need to go to these three dots down here. Let me bring up my icon here. Right. So you need to go to these three dots down here to access it. So click that, and then this will show you all the different icons that you can access in Illustrator, right? Because there's more tools than what is shown here at the corner. So you're looking for one of these guys here, right? And I'm going to pick this one. So that is chart. And then you just click and drag on to draw your chart. And it's going to create something like this. And it's going to give you a table. So this is very similar to what you were doing.
Excel.
Right, but it's not Excel though, right?
Yeah,
All right, so let's put this guy up here. Push it over here like that. See if we can have both of these on the screen at once. Right, so we had these different categories. We might have to make up some data here. So I'm gonna say commercial, residential, public. private. And I'm just going to put some values here, 65 and 46 and 79 and 100. Now, the interesting thing about this graph, which makes it interesting, is you realize this is kind of telling you like a double kind of graph here. It's like saying this building is made up, right, this building is made up of these 4 elements, and there are different colors, but then, you know, maybe this is representing how much of these elements they are, but at the same time, these elements together make up your building. So I mean, it's, when we go into architectural infographics, there are interesting ways that you can use graphs to represent your building, and it's really cool. So we're going to check out that after. But anyway, I just thought that was interesting there. All right, so when I put in these values now, here, then oops, yes, there we go, and then we get these values here. And the interesting thing about this is that, well, if you're used to Illustrator, then this will still operate like an Illustrator file. So for example, like, these are still shapes, they're already vectors, but it's still editable. So maybe I should make this out of 100 really. So let's make this 20, 20, 60. All right, no, 50 and 10. There we go. So notice that all of the sizes still adjust, even though we separated them, which means that this is parametric, which is excellent, because we can do all of the interesting things that we can do with a graph. So for example, what if you wanted to use gradients, right? So hold on, are you seeing my screen? Yes, okay, I just want to make sure that you're seeing my screen. Right, so suppose you wanted to make this a particular color, right? So, and I don't know if you remember this in Illustrator, but in Illustrator you have the different color theories, right? And you also have the color themes. So for example, I could go with foliage as my color theme, and I would get all of these gradients here, and I could change the fill to these gradients. So I'm going to choose no stroke and only fill. I'll make that be that one, no stroke. Yeah, and you know, that could be interesting. But then if you decide to edit this information, come on, there we go, and you wanted to make this 10 and this 30, and there you go. So it is still live edited, even though you can still mess with it. Now you can even pull these away and do some crazy mess with it. So let's say you wanted to highlight this piece here, right? I mean, there's a limit to how much you can edit. So let's say you wanted to make this 5 and this 35. Then, you know, you see what happens? It just kind of jumps back, right? So there are some changes it will keep, but this gives you much more creative freedom, right, to do stuff. And then you can always explode it. But like, because you have a creative freedom, like you could, for example, I don't know how far I can push this. So this would be I'm experimenting as well, right? I could use the shape builder tool. Anybody here use the shape builder tool in Illustrator? Anybody? No? Okay. Nobody uses the shape builder tool? Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, I should use this opportunity to explain. So, though I did explain this already, but anyway, doesn't matter. So let's say you have a couple shapes here. I'm gonna just draw a couple shapes like that. There we go, a couple shapes like that. So the shape builder tool is, put this over here. The shape builder tool is this icon here. Remember, if you can't find it, you can always click on the three dots here. And what it allows you to do is you can decide if you want to subtract. You can basically just turn these into hold on. Oops. See, you can like cut out shapes and intersect shapes and do all sorts of craziness with the shape builder tool, right? Because you know before these would be different shapes, right? So but anyway, that is really cool with the shape builder tool. I don't know if it will work here. Let's give it a swing and see. I want to minus this. Nah, it didn't work. I suppose it would have
Sorry,
been
you
weird
have
if it. You have
Sorry,
to.
hear me?
Yeah, I'm hearing you. Go ahead.
I think you have to select everything and then you hold down shift and drag over the area you want to remove.
Right, but it won't work while keeping this as a graph. I would have to explode it, so then I would lose the functionality. So I would, but I will talk about that in a little bit. Right, for right now, I don't want to lose the functionality, just in case I want to edit this. I want to talk about some more features, right? One of the most interesting features in Illustrator is the 3D feature, and I'm just gonna put that up there just to show you, because a lot of you might choose things that are 3D. So let's say I draw this box in Illustrator, and let me customize it a little bit. Let me use like the pen tool, and I will just make it, not normal. I'll just put a cut there or something. All right, so I don't know if you remember the appearance panel. Let me make this full screen for you. And let me just pull out the appearance panel. So the appearance panel keeps track of all the effects that you added. So right now, the appearance panel is saying that you have a stroke of black and a fill of gray, which you can see here. And with this, you can add additional effects layered on top of each other, right? So there's one called 3D and materials, and this inflate is a new feature in Illustrator, but I'm not going to use this because the older Illustrator don't have it. But and then you have the extrude and bevel, and you have this classic 3D. Let me use a classic one just in case you're using an older version of Illustrator. All right. So this is what the classic one looks like, and what this is doing is giving you a preview of what the 3D will be when you apply it. So if I choose OK, then is it that the classic one doesn't work anymore? Come on. Yeah, it's not previewing. Maybe the classic, let me see, maybe this has to be on top. Nope. I don't know. Oh, that would make sense. I didn't select the object. I need to select the object first. Don't let that catch you guys. So make sure you select the object first that you want to modify. So when I click this object here, then I add the 3D effect. There we go. There we go. Right. And you can angle it. Right. You can choose a shading type. You can choose the perspective. All right. Now you might be saying, okay, so fine. SketchUp, Illustrator can do these perspective things. But what's the point? Why not just use SketchUp? And the thing is that this is still vector, right? So for example, oops. Where is the effect? Maybe I shouldn't have used the classic one. You can't get it back? You've got to be kidding me. I guess this is why they made it over again. Is there anybody using Illustrator older than CS? Six? Or maybe not? Or maybe you don't know, you just kind of use Illustrator. All right. For the sake of simplicity, I'm going to just use the newer one. Come on. All right. Sure. I'm going to use the newer one. So when you go to add effects, notice that you see one that's called classic. So this would be like the older Illustrator, and this would be the newer one. So let me use the newer one because the newer one is way better, right? So the newer one, you rotate it in the viewport. That's the first thing. That's just great. And you can add things like depth, like how much you want it to extrude, and you have all kind of little cool options there that you can add. Let me turn that off. Right. Now the thing is, in Illustrator, it's still driven off of vector. So I can still click on the vector and I can still edit the shape as well, right? Additionally, you can always go back and edit the shape as long as you have the 3D window open, right? And with the new one, you have materials and you have lighting, which is pretty cool. So you can change like the where you want the light to hit, which is pretty interesting. You can even add shadows. There we go. Should be below object, behind the object. Do I need to rotate it? That's why it's not adding. It's an object here. All right. Now, the reason I want to show you guys this though, because you can get really down to details in this, is of course you can add this 3D effect to your graphs as well. All right. So if I go to 3D here, and let me see if I can do this now. So I want to angle it. It's a little weird to rotate, by the way.
7 p.m.
I can angle it that way. Then I can change my depth. There we go. Let's go to materials. You can go to lighting, and you can even change like the rendering technique to make it more realistic. I don't know if you can see the difference, but it's like more realistic now. You can set it to high, medium, and low. Or you can even, I mean, you know, since when is Illustrator a rendering program, right? But of course, the great thing about this is that it is still a chart, right? So you can still edit the features here. So I could make this 10, make this 30.
Sir, which version of Illustrator is this?
This is 2023, but this is in there from 20 after CS. So this is still there. This should be in most of the Illustrator you're using by now. What would not be in there is this inflate option. Then again, maybe does anybody have their Illustrator now that can confirm that for me?
So I don't see it in mine.
You don't see it in yours. All right. So here is what we will do.
Download it.
Okay. Let me go back to the original. All right, so let me go to the classic one because you can do it in the classic one as well. The only thing that I'm wondering about is turn off the new one. So that is not the new one. What happens is that when they get a new feature, they tend to hide the old one. So it used to be here, but it's not there anymore. I don't know if they disabled it or something. I don't know where they hide the option now. Oh, but actually, okay. You can still see the effect on your appearance tab. So if I click on this, and I want you to just look on this carefully. So the object on a hold has this effect added to it. And I can turn this effect on or off. Or I can, usually you double click it, right, good. And then the properties will come up for you to edit it. So now I will have to rotate it here, which is a little weird, but this is how it used to be done. And then they revamped this feature. Extrude depth. So you would increase that. And then you can also change the lighting to, let me try diffuse. Certainly not as nice as the other one, but let me see. Yeah, go ahead.
What if you wanted to do a tier of the different pie chart segments, similar to the icon that you have?
Good plan. I'm going to show you how to do that in just, at least my concept of how to do it. There are many ways to skin the cat. I'm just trying to see if I can rotate in it. No, I can't rotate that way. Keep it. Rotate it. Oh, I'm rotating it there. I remember doing a project once, and because I wanted an object in vector in 3D, I used this feature. You know. Let's see. Yeah, the other one is definitely nicer. So if you can manage to get the newer one, it's, you know, it looks more realistic and interesting. All right, so the good thing is that this is still a vector, right? This is just an effect that I can turn on and off. That's all I'm doing. And I can always go back to the effect and I can tweak the options a little more. Let me try and change you can change the bevel as well. So it just bevels the ends, which doesn't, not working out. That's better. gray. That's somewhat better. And then let's change the perspective. So it's like, yeah, somewhat of a perspective. All right, cool. All right, now you are still able to edit the colors. You can, if you can see this blue here, this blue is where the original shapes are. So if you move this, you edit the actual shape, right? So if you want to change something, sometimes it's easier to just like turn off the effect. So I would need to click on it and turn it off, and then you can see it a bit easier if you wanted to do something like change it. All right, now at some point though, what you're going to find out is that you probably have to break the link between this and the table. So what I would probably do, I'm going to make a copy of this over here, and then I'm going to go to object, and I'm going to go to expand if I can get it to expand, or is it not expanding? Because if I can get it to, there we go, expand. And expand is like explode, right? Most people here know to use SketchUp, right? So whenever you're in SketchUp and you have a group and you explode it, they become entities. So that's essentially what you're doing here now. So I've just exploded this. Once you explode it, can anybody tell me what's the downside of exploding these shapes? Anybody?
It's no longer linked
So
to
I
the
can no
table.
longer edit it.
Exactly. I can no longer edit the table, but this gives me freedom to do much more things. So I'm going to ungroup this. Let's ungroup this. Oh, wow, there are so many groups. Okay, there we go. So now this is, I can move this wherever, and I can move these wherever. Now I can use the shape builder tool, so I could, you know, do something like this, and then I could use my shape builder tool to subtract. Oh, this is not really neat, but you get the idea. So now I'm able to like fully customize, like there's no limits on me having to work with the graph. And of course, I can now add the 3D effect. Now, I've exploded it earlier, so I would add the 3D effect to each one. So I would go here, and yeah, this the old time one not doing me any justice, because it is, the new one is so much more fancy and pretty. But anyway, there we go. And I can give it some perspective and give it some height like that. There we go. All right, now of course this is just an effect. I can turn it on and off. So of course I can actually copy this effect. I should be able to copy it. Oh man. Oh well, if I create the same effect here, it will copy the settings at least. I think it should. Let's see. Oh no, it doesn't. Oh, this is a real pain. Okay.
Yeah. So you could try tapping on the FX beside the effect. So tap on the first image. Would that copy
No, well, that will enable it and disable it. Because what happens is that this has its own effect and this has its own. So each of them has their own listing of effects, basically. But I mean, it's okay. And of course, this is behind this because of how the layering is adjusted. So, where is it? these layers. Here we go. Right. So there's so many objects in here. Let's take them out so that we can see what we're talking about. So all of these guys here, let's put them on their own layer. Right. So I would need to put this layer here in front. Well, in front of this layer. And it will be shown in front like that, right? So, I mean, I guess if you use SketchUp, you would be like, maybe I would do this in SketchUp. But then what happened is that this is a graphic program. So, I mean, if I wanted to put like text, you know, and change the font and change the font to something interesting, and then maybe I want to do something interesting with the text, like, I don't know, like, I'm just kind of making this up as I go along, but expanding it, same thing as explode, remember? And now because I exploded it, I can tweak it. You know, I can tweak all of these things. So you're in the environment of Illustrator. So it is an Illustrator program. So that's why maybe you might want to stick in Illustrator in certain cases if you're doing a 3D. So if I was doing like an actual 3D model, then I wouldn't do it in Illustrator, right? But because I'm doing a diagram or a infographic, that is why I'm opting to do the 3D portion of it in Illustrator. You understand? So,
then
and
you
of
have
course,
more control over it, sir.
I have more control over the graphics, but I have less control over the 3D. You know, because if you're in SketchUp, you know, you can do all sorts of things with the 3D, but you know, when I look on this, like, this is a graphical thing. It's not a 3D thing. So most of my time will be spent with text and boxes and outlines and things like that. But I mean, that's why I showed you different options. But some of you that's comfortable with PowerPoint, maybe you want to generate the table in PowerPoint. But whatever program you're generating, definitely put it together in Illustrator or in Photoshop. You know, put it together in a program that gives you the creative freedom to change all of the different elements that you want to change. All right. So now if I'm doing like this gradient in the background here, I don't know if you guys remember gradient, but you know, to do a gradient, you need your gradient tool panel. So I can turn it on here, and where are you, gradient? It's somewhere on my hundreds of windows that I'm searching through. Where is the gradient? Let me just turn it off. Turn it back on. Gradient. Ah, here it is. Right. So this is my gradient now. Let me dock it here. And of course, I don't know if you remember this from DDM days, but if I apply this applies this gradient going this way. So I might want to turn that 90 degrees going that way. And I don't want to have a gradient between green and white, but in this case, it looks like a kind of a blue, light blue, going to like gray, white, going to a kind of gray blue, maybe. I'm just guessing. Something like that, I think. Maybe that's too blue. Maybe it needs to be more lighter. Something like that. I know. Or you can, we can tweak it more, but if you were doing this in like SketchUp or whatever, you wouldn't have all of these gradient options, right? So I'm going to send this to the back. And then of course, because you're in this program, everything is transparent and everything is vector. Everything is 100% sharp. So it don't matter if you're printing this wherever, let's see, what else do we have here? I'm not going to include everything, but these are fairly simple shapes, and then you have text that you're choosing the text of. These numbers might be interesting. So for example, if I wanted to put a number on top of this or on top of this and let it be flat, I could, let's just call this 35%. And if I wanted the 35% to sit flat on this surface here, well, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go to my appearance tab and I'm going to go to effects. And the effect that you would use is
Warp.
what was that?
I was going to say warp.
Yeah, let's see. Warp. You could use warp. I mean,
Sure, I don't think my Illustrator have all of those options,
Really? No, man. No, I am using the features that are in all of them from like back in the day. So if you notice, that's why them have a 3D classic different from that, because this one is in all of the Illustrator. In this case, I wouldn't use warp. I would use free distort. I don't know if you ever tried this feature yet, but this gives you this little box here and you're able to distort this text. It's a little funny because you have to use your imagination a little bit. So I want to distort this, like, let's see. This would be like over some more, or maybe this would be like this. I don't know. I'm kind of guessing, and choose OK. And there you go. And it's an effect, so you can turn it on or off. And it's still editable text. Like I can put like 25%. I can stick it right there, right? So, and all of this is still vector, which is great. So I can always go into like this shape and I can change it. I can do whatever to it because it's vector. But there are those effects that I am adding, right? Okay. Man, these shadows are so nice. Like if you're using the newer Illustrator, you can just enable the shadows, but I'm going to pretend that we're using the older Illustrator. So you know, just like what you would do in Photoshop. Say again, Kings?
Show us.
Well, I mean, if you could do it the classical way, like what you would do in Photoshop. You draw your shadow. I mean, where is that? I guess I would use a pen tool and just kind of do some kind of fake shadow business. Of course, I would put this. I'd put this in front. And then this, of course, would be a gradient. So there are some defaults here. I would go with this blue to transparent. And then I guess I would turn it a couple degrees. I don't even know how this thing is turning. 45, no? 30? I'm just guessing here, guys. 20, so try 20. Oh Lord. Okay, so this here, so I need to go like here, 30, 45. I don't even know, but you can see it fading there, right? So, and of course this wouldn't be blue, this would be like black or gray, and then I would carry this down a little bit like that. There we go. So then it's kind of like a fake shadow, which is just like what you would do in Photoshop, but you would maybe use the tool here. But the great thing about this is that it is vector. Anyway,
Sure.
yeah, go ahead.
How would it be if you're using the actual shadow tool? Because I have 23, so I probably would have the shadow tool in.
All right, cool. Let's do some shadowing. So I would go to the appearance tab here, and the newer one have ray tracing too, right? You know, even if you don't know what that is, that sounds very fancy. So let's use the newer one, which you can just rotate on screen, which is just way easier, right? So it still rotates a little weird though, so you have to kind of play with it a little bit. It's a little weird. Yeah. All right. And of course you need to go and turn on the 3D tool, the 3D and materials. Now this is not a feature, right? Is it? Let me check. Oh, it is, right? So you see it here. So when you double click this, then this window comes up now. Okay. So I can turn it off and on, just like before. Right, so in here now there is a shadow option, which I can go to lighting and enable shadows, and look at that. That's so cool, right? You can't really make it blurry, unfortunately. You can change the distance, you know, behind or below objects. So behind, I wish you could make it blurry. That would just be the tip of the iceberg, but yeah. Anyway, you can change like the intensity of the light and the softness of the light, the height, color intensity. This part of the model here, the shaded areas, color, where do you change the shaded areas?
Can the shadow be changed, sir? Can it be lighter? Or
You
that's
don't really have those options. It's just, you know, it's just the beginning. I guess that's why they put this feedback button here, because it's like new. Right? So, you know, you don't really have as much options, but okay, but the interesting thing is that the shadows here are controlled because it is you have an outline. So the old time one, you couldn't control the outline, I believe, but this one you can. So if I change the outline here, so I make it like a different color, like gray, then it change, because this it's the edge of the box here. So that is pretty cool. You can also change the lighting to over here and change, where is the options? It should come up. Right, here we go. So you enable ray tracing, you can make it high or low, render as vector. No, I want to render, and it should, oh look, it gives you some amount of blurriness. That's pretty cool. If only I could control it, but I think you can maybe play around with it. Like maybe the softness. Oh, whoa, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? There we go. Wow, that looks like a render, right? But yet it's vector.
That looks really good.
Yeah, and it's vector, so I can change the thing and it will just change. That's insane. Who wants to go and get the 2023 version now, right? All right, one more. While we're at it, just one more interesting feature. I don't see it on my thingy here though, but I'm just showing you because it's cool. It's this inflate feature here. You see what it does? It like it in quote unquote inflated the thing, so it looks like it's like a round thing here, which is pretty cool. And you have some options. You can change like the depth and the twist, which the taper and the volume. So you can make it look like it's inflated a lot or inflated a little. So, and it still keeps the outline. So for example, like if you are doing a diagram where you have like a stroke and you're having like a dash line, I don't know if you can see it. I'll make it a little bigger. Come on. All right. Oops. Yeah, now Illustrator is turned into a rendering program because I hear my computer fan spinning because it's doing all of these fancy 3D things in Illustrator, right? But yeah, you can still have the dash line just the same, right? So this and then with all of this now, you have the regular stuff that you would need in an infographic. In an infographic, it's all about arrows, diagrams, lines, those things. You know, you're pointing to stuff, you're labeling stuff. So you know, you use a lot of labeling tools like that. Make it black, right? You use a lot of labeling tools to label objects. Your stroke tool is your friend because you use a lot of arrows, you know, to label stuff. Maybe it's going to be a dash line. You can change to a dash line. You can change like the amount of dashes, or if you have dashes that are not equal, so you have a straight and then a dash and then a straight and then a dash. So like all these little tiny edits are like perfect for diagramming, right? So when we start doing infographics in architecture, when we come back, we're going to use a lot of these features, right? Okay, so I think maybe I covered enough so you could do this, especially if you have the newer Illustrator. All right. So for example, if like let's say you chose the pie chart and you wanted to do things like this. I mean, you could just get away with the inflate option, but let's pretend you don't have the latest Illustrator. I mean, this is just a gradient. That's really all it is. So what you could do, you could have generated this as a graph first, as a pie chart first, and then you expand it and add the effects after, right? So I don't know. Well, we have a little time, so let me see if I can do a quick demonstration of that. So for example, I would choose pie chart. I would draw it there, and of course I get my little table there, and let's keep this on top, right? So I might want to do 15, 25, 20, 5, 15, 10, 10. Oh no, I started from 15. Okay. There you go. Oops, I'm getting confused. Let's put this over here. Oops. Yes. Okay, there we go. Right. So maybe I could start from this if I wanted to do. Yeah, go ahead.
So how did you get that feature, the pie chart? feature thing.
Right. So if you don't see the icons here, then look in the where you see the three dots here. Because what happens is that if you're using the older version of Illustrator, then it is one of these sub menus. So like when you click on whole and you get these sub menus, it is one of them. I don't know which one it is because it's buried. But if you're using a newer Illustrator, you would have these three dots here and it can open out and show you all the tools and you're looking for this one. All right, so kind of,
Okay, sir. You see.
yeah, looks like a pie chart. Right. Right. So, and well, with this though, I don't think I'm able to edit it without exploding it. I would probably still have to explode it. So if I wanted to do this, I would probably have to create like a parallel line on the outside here, right? To do that, I could use a feature. So if I go to appearance here for this object, I could add a outline. And no, this is not in the newer Illustrator. This is in all of them. Offset, I think it is offset, right? So a offset will offset a shape. I would have to do some little tricks here, right? Because the offset alone wouldn't work. What I would have to do is I would need to, I would probably need to copy. And then I would explode this one. Need to remember that in order to explode, I have to close this guy here. Yeah, I've got to expand. Yeah, good. And then I would so now that this is expanded, I should have each of these by themselves. What is this? Oh, it's still a graph. Oh, so I need to expand. Ungroup. You will no longer be able to access. Yes, I know. Ah, there we go. Ungroup. Yes, there. So I have these individual pieces. All right, so what I would do is I would say no fill and I would stick it right here and then expand these out. Let me put this here so you can kind of see what I'm doing. And maybe what I would do is expand them at different intervals. So like this is one. Let me group this. I'm just kind of making this up as I go along. So let me, hold on. Right. All right. I could, there's so much ways that I could do this. Sorry, my brain is just like, as I'm doing one way, then I'm figuring out, I could also do it this way, and I could also do it this way, right? Let me see if this would work. I could use the scale tool, which is here. And I should be able to, no, okay, right. So you can use the scale tool. Let me see if I can do it the shortest way without losing the graph edit. If I go here, I should be able to use the scale tool and put the center here. And then put the center here. Hold on. So it's only bigger there. I need to, come on. Put the center here. and then scale. Ah, there we go. I just need to keep it even. Right. Good. Then I repeat the process for this one. And then I put the center here. And then, oops. This is kind of weird when you're scaling it. Might take some getting used to. Come on. So weird. Okay. Okay, there must be a easier way. Okay, I'm not going to burst my brain on it too far, but you guys get the idea, right? Then for each one of these that you have here, let me try and just do one more. Come on. Here. There must be a way to keep it on screen while you're scaling. Okay, actually, this way works as well. All right. Then you would use a gradient. Well, you would need to turn off all of the strokes, because you don't want any strokes. You just want these. And then each of these is a gradient. So you go to your gradient tool and you can apply one gradient to the fill. So like that. And right, here are the different colors. So apply that one there, and then apply this one there, maybe that color, and so forth and so forth. And then you would need to rotate the gradient. So you'd rotate it so the lighter color is at the end, like that, or the darker color, depending on what the sample looks like, right? But I don't know, guys, am I losing you, or are you following?
Following, sir.
Right. So I'm just trying to give some examples of some different approaches that you might use for some of these things. I'm guessing everybody here would know how to do these because it's 3D, and either you're going to retreat to SketchUp and then save out your thing as a PDF and then carry it back into Illustrator or Photoshop. You know, you can choose to do it that way, or you can try out the 3D features in Illustrator directly. I already told, according to the workflow that we have here, after you pick out the theme, the next thing you do is search for resources, and free pick. You can get a lot of stuff from free pick. Whenever you go for resources, always look for the vector. So for example, let's see if I can find, let's go back to Pinterest. Let's see. And you don't have to choose these fancy ones, like, ooh, like I'm looking at this now and I'm just saying, already you guys see that you can do this in Illustrator, right? By using the extrude feature, and you know, you could get some nice looking things like that so easy, right? Anyway, what I want to show you is something else. I'm looking for like an icon. Okay, maybe I'm not going to find one, but if you are ever looking for a object, like let's say you have these, let's say you wanted these fancy buttons here that looks like it's 3D. The options you can build it from scratch, meaning you build a circle and apply a drop shadow and a bevel and all these things, or you could search for resources. So that's what I want to repick. Oh, it's PIK, right? So vector button. I don't know if I'll get lucky. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so look at like these buttons here. This looks pretty cool and it's free. You want to look for the ones that don't have the little king icon here because those are not free. So like these. Maybe this is a little too fancy, but just to give you an example. And there you go. And EPS, that's what you're looking for. And then I would choose download and free download. There we go. And I would just open this up. And you will see that it has a EPS file, and I would just double click it and voila. Now you have, let's ungroup it. Let's ungroup that. There you go. Now you have a nice fancy button that you can just paste. You can just paste in your project, right? And you can even go into this group and delete the ground. Oh, the ground has a shadow. Oh well. Actually, what I would do, I would go in and modify this so it doesn't fade to white, but I would change it so it fades to 0. So, and then change this so that this fades to like 0 as well. No, that's gonna look weird. Okay. Maybe not white, but like gray. Well, it's gray already, so maybe like that. And now, anywhere you put it, it should have that. Let's put it on top of this. Yeah, you see that? It will have the nice shadow looking thing. So maybe this goes on top of your graph. I don't know. Whatever the idea is that you had. All right. So so back to this here. So this is searching for resources. So you saw me just go to free pick and just grab an object. You can grab an icon, things like that. But at the end of the day, when you pick something, you try to kind of work within that, your original idea. All right, guys, is there any questions based on this little demonstration?
Sir, how long before we can access this recording on the
I will do it tonight, I promise. All right, as soon as it is encoded, so later tonight. For those of you who still feel a little bit daunted with Illustrator, I mean, you can use Photoshop, but let me give you some ideas here. For example, let's go back to here. Should we use this one? These are simple. Let me look at one from there we go. Right. So for example, if you when you download a vector object, unlike if you download like a PSD or like a PNG, you can go in. So I could go into this button thing here, or I could just use this tool here, and I can select these points here, and I could extend it like that because it's all vector, right? And it could be a whole new shape. Like maybe I want to change my mind and do something like this, or I want to do an angle because I'm doing, so I could find something that resembles what I want, but because I know it's vector, I can just tweak the line work. So in that way, you're not locked into having to use your eraser tool and use your warp tool and try to bend something to do your bidding, right? Also, don't forget that in the world of infographics, icons are like the heart of infographics, And sometimes, for whatever reason, let's say you can't find the icon that you want in all the resources. You're looking for an icon of, I don't know, something unique, and you only got it from this website. So let's say I'm looking for an icon of truck. I don't know. I just came up with that, right? And let's say that for some reason, like, you know, you could, the perfect icon you want is this, but you couldn't get it as a vector. Then have no fear. What you can do is just download this. So in this case, I'm going to download it to my desktop. All right, good. And then if I'm using Illustrator, then I'm going to go here and I'm going to just, I think this is it. Let's see. Where is it? Here it is. I'm going to just drag it over. Make it a little smaller. So let's say that this icon did everything you wanted to do, but you only have it as an image. So when you drag it over, you're going to, up the top, you're going to choose image trace, and it's going to give you this. In this case, it's a large image, so it's going to say, you know, it might hang your computer, so it's a good idea to save. So I'm going to choose OK, you know, because I don't have to do that. And now it has changed it into vector. Now it's not very clean. If you zoom in, you can see that it's not perfect, but you know, like it has these weird edges here. So what you can do is you can go into the image trace options. And for example, you can say, okay, let's try sketch option. And maybe that will clean it up a little bit. And see, that's pretty good. The sketch option works. Then after you're done, you're going to choose expand, and this will basically collapse it into vector lines. So now I'm able to like move it around, and I can tweak it and do what I want to do. You know, maybe this was a taller truck. I want to make this taller. There you go. And so because of this flexibility, and don't forget, I mean, you could add the 3D tool to this and you could just go crazy with it. But because of this flexibility, this is why for infographics, definitely you want to try to, if you've been shying away from Illustrator in the past, like we're going to be looking on. And if you want some motivation, you know, you just need to say, here we go, architectural infographics, and then you will just see just the sheer amount of ways that infographics is used in pretty much almost every architectural presentation, right? Like it is like a requirement. But I find that the reason that persons may not get it so easily is because they haven't started with what is an infographic. You have to start from the source, and then you layer on, how do I apply this to architecture after, right? So that is what you guys are doing. You guys are doing the source stuff now to try to understand how to generate an infographic and working with these tools. And then now we're going to mix all of that knowledge with your knowledge of architecture and, you know, and representation. And that is when, you know, you just put your design on the wall and everything just speaks for itself. All the statistics, all of your concepts, everything. It's just diagrams and illustrations and drawings. And yeah. How does that sound?
Yes, sir, but not all the time we have the time. We don't always have the time to do the fancy stuff. We can just do a little bit of it and that's it. But we can't go the whole way.
But look at this presentation. It does have two little graphs. Nothing too fancy. Maybe 2 little graphs that says, public space, and open space, and yeah, but it is enough that your lecturers can just look and say, oh, you have such a large public space, like even before getting to the drawing. So in a way, we'll talk about this when we do architectural infographics, but you can save yourself time rather than trying to show everything in the drawing. Just do a little diagram to convey your concept. Instead of showing your courtyard with 70% of trees by filling it up with 3D trees, just do a little chart and just say, courtyard 70% trees. Is like, you're communicating the same thing but with more efficient effort. So that's why I want you guys to understand the infographic thing, because it can save you additional work. And it can be fancy at the same time. All right, so I think that's enough of me blabbering all of this time. Hopefully, as I say, I will put on this recording and you can watch it back. But really and truly, you just need to experiment. Just follow the steps that we did, and follow it here. The last thing I want to do before we go, let us look on some of the persons that submitted this thing, because I did say I would do that. Let's see. So, all right, I'm just gonna pick at random, or do you want me to answer a question specifically? Now is your only time to do that before I leave you on your own, right? So okay, this is Brittany. Brittany, are you here? Yes, you're here. All right. I love your ideas. Oh, by the way, guys, you're not allowed to steal Brittany's ideas, right? Or have I talked too late? Huh? You're not allowed to say, oh, I love Brittany's infographic, let me take it for myself. Anyway, Brittany, is there any questions you had for me? Like any concerns you had in terms of how you would create some of these things? Or you think you can figure it out? Or?
Well, if what is there now seems okay, I think I can figure it out.
All right, because some of these things we kind of touched on the graphs and the shadows, and yeah, I'm pretty confident you can do that. All right, let's pick another one at random. Is there anybody that want me to look on theirs specifically? Oh, I don't see any here. Okay.
Sure, I can look on mine.
All right, is that Kings? Kings, here we go.
Yes, sir. I want to know what's missing from it.
What's missing? I can help you with the technical things, but I can tell you what's missing after I mark it.
Okay, so I think based on this class, I think I might want to do like a 3D things.
All right, well, push. It doesn't have to be 3D, by the way. I was just showing you that because, like, when you do nowadays, when you go infographics, there are so many 3D ones out there. So I just wanted you to know that you can do it. So I see where you want to have a map of Jamaica. You're going to have like an icon, and you're going to get some icons to represent this. This is like a map of, you zoom into Jamaica, like Caribbean or something.
That was a type of map. That was
oh, the type of map. Oh,
yeah.
Okay, yeah. All right, cool. All right. Well, what I would say based on what you have so far is, let's look at the you're doing which one of the questions are you doing? Cause you're only supposed to pick 2.
So
Oh.
that I think is the one that the employment demographics.
Okay, so
Because
Montego Bay is fairly young, so that one you need to represent. A Montego Bay population seems to be fairly young. Like, how can I summarize that in a diagram, an image, something like that, right? With more than 50% of its residents being below the age of 30. Is that like informational? Like you have a big 3 and 0. This is why I said to go and look for some themes and some reference, so that you can. Cause maybe you're imagining it in your mind, but it's kind of fuzzy, and you just need to find some inspiration infographics to kind of make it be clearer, right? So that's why I said go on the Pinterest and these websites, and maybe you see one and you say, oh, I like the way how they show that age like this, right? So that's the next one there. The working class is categorized between ages 25 to 60. So right there you have a range. You know what I mean? And approximately 47 of his residents, categorized as ages 25 to 60 accounts for approximately 47% of his residents, excluding those who work below the age of 45. It's such a tongue-twisted way to say it, but literally it's taken word from word from these documents. Like, I don't know if you've ever read some of these documents before that describe like a community. That's how they kind of write it out. And you have to kind of filter it down. So, I mean, a lot of ideas come to my mind, but I'm not going to, like, you need to come up with that for yourself. And for those who are, especially I keep mentioning those who are going forward to like doing your masters, you're going to deal with so much statistics. Like you have to do so much research, and there's just like mountains and mountains of information, and you just cannot throw all of that on a sheet. You just cannot, and you cannot read it because it would take up all your presentation time. So you have to find ways to show it. All right.
And the question, sir, is it that I'll be combining 2 options into one chart?
That is correct. That is entirely correct. So, I mean, you don't, when I say that combine, meaning that choose any 2 of these and you're communicating it on one page. One page. You can choose the overlaps that you want to show. Remember, we spoke of overlaps. So you can choose, like, if both of them are talking about Montego Bay, can I just show everything on one Montego Bay map? Hint, hint. Both of them are talking about Jamaica. Do I have to put a Jamaica map for showing population demographics and another Jamaica map for showing growth dynamics? Or can I just have one Jamaica map and it's telling me all the information? Hint, hint. You get what I'm saying? So find ways to overlap the information. All right?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, cool. All right.
You can look on mine, sir. Jeremy.
All right, Jeremy.
Jeremy, you want a hint too?
Right. I'm not give that hint was for everybody. I'm not giving out any specific hints here. That was just a general hint. Okay, cool. All right. So these are this is probably the growth 1% every year, right?
Yes, sir. So from 1998 go all the way.
Right. All right. What I would say about this is try and find an example of a way that it is done.
Yeah.
Right? Like something that's similar to this.
Yeah.
Right? And see where you can go from there.
Sir, it was
I guess this is kind of like your theme and like your color. And this one as well. What I would say is, okay, this is interesting. That's interesting. Yeah, cool. Of course, you need to combine them, but in terms of how you want it to look, you do have to tie everything together in one theme because these look totally different. But maybe for this, you like the way how this population boom and bust is showing here, and you want to take something from it.
Yes, sir.
And maybe from this, maybe from this you like. What are you saying? Repeat.
I was saying, yeah, more of the colors and the theme and everything.
Right. Okay, cool. Yeah, sure. So like, well, I'm sure like these icons and things, like I'm sure you can find them, right? Also, remember that you can pipette colors. So like, for example, if I should grab this and I should drop it in Illustrator. Oops, I guess I can't. Well, I can just come on, snip it, drop it like that. Remember that you can use the pipette tool to get colors, right? So you know, I can get that color and I can get that color, you know what I mean? So, you know, if you want to make text, if you want to grab the colors from your theme, just put a screenshot and just grab the colors. All right, don't forget you can do that. That's another free tip. And you can do that in Photoshop too, in case you want to do it. But as you realize, I'm kind of pushing you guys towards Illustrator because for infographic, you'll just have a better time. All right, guys. So those are the tips I want to give out, I think. Please use this week to finish it up because you know it go already when you go on study tour. I don't think you're gonna have time to be doing an assignment and all of that. So please use the week to just get this out of the way. When you come back, we're gonna go straight into architectural infographics. So that's like the phase 2 of this whole infographics journey, and that's where our journey will end. We'll spend another 2 weeks-ish in infographics. And then we're going to start to look into other cutting edge technology. Hopefully we can talk about AI, and we're supposed to do a little Squid Games and some video game stuff and some movie stuff. So we have some other stuff planned. All right. So go and come back safe. If I don't talk to you again, I will see you again in 2 weeks' time. All right. Horace, you have a question?
Yes, hello, sir. I was just looking where my name is, and I only see one link. Just curious as to why that is.
Yeah, I'm not sure. You sure you did 2?
Yes, I'm sure. I did 2 and I submitted 2.
Oh, one of them is supposed to be the link to the notebook, and then the other one is the link to the page. Well, I still get there, so that's good. So this is yours, right? Yep.
Yes, sir. I'm just not sure why I not seen the first one, so.
Yeah, I wonder, did I don't think I deleted it by accident. No, I don't think so. It's still not there. I can go back in time. No, it never. I don't know. It's blank.
Alright,
But anyway, as long no, but it works, so it's fine. As long as it works, it's fine. So I have the link here. That's the more important thing. All right. So your participation
it's the same link, right, sir?
Say again?
It's the same link, right?
No, it's not the same link because and some person sent me a local link, by the way. Joel, is Joel here? No? Okay. So for example, when you create a OneNote notebook, So this is OneNote that I'm using here, right? And open that notebook here, right? This was the one that I was using. You have to create it on in OneDrive, meaning that if I am creating a new notebook like this, I have to choose OneDrive, not this PC, because if it's not in OneDrive, then you can't share it. All right, so if you talk to Joel, just pass on that information, or anybody else who create a OneNote notebook, it has to be within your OneDrive so that it can be accessed from the cloud. And the link that you were talking about for Kings, I think you're asking me. So you can share a link to the page, or you can share a link to the entire notebook. So if I go to up here and go to share, it's going to share the entire notebook, which is good. But let's say you have a notebook with many pages, right? Like, let's say I want to share my design notebook for your studio project, and you have like, I don't know, 14 pages. You might also want to share the exact page that you want the person to look at. So that's why I ask you for two links. One is the entire notebook, and then the other one is the page. Because, some people might have many pages. All right.
Sir, question. I submitted my OneNote. Not sure if you can access it. Yeah, Barnesville, sir. You can check it real quick.
Yep, here it is.
I went on it earlier today, and there was nothing on it. It said that I don't have enough space in my Microsoft. Everything basically.
You need, because there's nothing here.
I'm wondering, how do I fix this issue? Because it said I don't have enough storage.
Yes, open a new OneNote, Outlook. Sign up for a new Outlook email.
Question, sir. That's in mine in yellow. What does that mean?
Darren?
Yeah.
Where was it in yellow? I think I was trying it and it wasn't working. I think that was, it wasn't working.
Sir,
did you go to the... Yeah, go again?
Oh, sir, finish talking to the person you were talking.
Yeah, just send it to me again. Darren, when you're sending it, make sure you use the share button here. Share entire notebook. And then you say, and this comes up, you say link, copy a link. Anyone with the link can edit, and you copy this. All right.
Sir, on my one, sir, I'm not seeing that share button, sir. I have to press on where you say where you have advanced computing tool. You have to click on that, and that's where I get my link from, sir.
Yeah. It's because you're using a different version.
Okay.
There's so many OneNote versions. There's Mac and there's Win and there's multiple in Windows.
Can I try to see if I could access mine then, sir? I don't want to say that.
Right. I don't see where it's, but it should. I wonder if it's a thing with let me try this link here. All right, here what you see on your own when you go to, probably the same issue with Darren as well. Go to file. Which one you say you have? You have invite people to this notebook. Do you see this option for yours?
Sir, no, sir, I'm not seeing that option, sir. I have to click on we have advanced computing to notebook. That's where I click on, and then I see the option to share it. I see share.
No, but so aren't you you're on a Windows computer, right?
Yes, sir.
So you're not seeing file, home, insert.
Yes, sir. I'm seeing all of those stuff, sir. It is just that,
All right,
and I
so
see where you have your share on the right screen, sir.
yeah, I get you.
Mine is not there, sir. Where I can just press it, easy press it there.
So
And
what you do?
I
Go
need
to
to do it and to find out.
Sarah see it. I think what Stephen has to do is probably go into info, and then you'll see it.
oh, where is that? Info, where is that?
So
Oh, right here, right. So you go to file, and then under info, and you see a little thing here.
Yeah.
Invite people to this notebook.
Oh,
yeah,
Right,
so
use that one.
so that's what I need to do.
Yeah,
And you
yeah,
said
yeah.
it. Okay.
Yeah, seems to be a, I don't know, just different versions. So. Right. All right. All right. So I'm hoping everyone is learning a thing or two. And I look forward to seeing some infographics in your study tour documents, right? All right. So
before we move on, sir, my OneDrive is saying product activation fails, sir. Remember that's why not working.
I see. Okay. What you can also do is you can share it online. So just sign into your just go to onenote.com.
Okay.
And then sign into your OneNote. Say, you go sign in. And I don't have my stuff on this, but all right. Right. And when you sign in, you will see all your notebooks. So in this case, I was using this one. And it will be online. And then when it's online, you do the same thing here. You go to the share and you go to share entire notebook.
All right, then, sir. I will send it back tonight to our morning, sir.
All right, cool. All right. Any more questions from anybody else? All right, I guess not. All right, guys. We'll see if you leave on the day. Hold on, you say it's Tuesday, so that means we have another class.
Sir,
All right.
Yeah.
so the links that are black, is it an issue or it can still work?
Most of them
Because
are
I'm seeing
issue,
those
but
with blue stuff.
as long as these, that's why I asked to send 2 links. So as long as this side is blue, they will work.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I just realized something. If your study tour is on Tuesday and class is on Monday, there's a high possibility that you guys will be preparing. So I'm going to, if indeed you are leaving on Tuesday, then we probably won't, are you guys, we probably won't have classes on Monday, I'm not sure. Because every time that happens, only a few persons come, and I don't want to start a new topic. If some persons have to, I don't know, travel to wherever to get themselves ready to meet at the airport and all these things. So, if the study is on, then there will be no class. If the study is not on, then there will be class. All right.
Okay, sir. Just send an email if anything, sir. So we can,
Right. I will follow up with Mr. Barr to see, 'cause I know how these things are, Yeah, things can get delayed. So, if the plane tickets by yet, or you haven't gotten that news yet? I guess not. All right. All right then, guys. So maybe I see you next week. All right. And if not, then I see you when you come back. All right.
Sir, I just resent the first class activity. Can you check this?
The first one or this one here?
The first one.
Oh, okay. All right. I can check that in a bit.
Sir, what's due for next week or for Monday rather?
What? Repeat that.
Asking what's due for Monday or for the next class.
Well, your assignment is due. Let me look. Let me check the class site. When did we say this was due? This is due on the 12th. When is the 12th? The 12th is a Monday, actually. Right, the 12th is a Monday. That is when assignment 1 is due. So it's actually due before you guys leave. Right?
Infographics exercise, sir?
Yeah, it's 2 weeks. So we started it on the 29th and it's due on the 12th. Because that's remember I told you have 1 more week to do it. Right? So but don't worry, I know you guys will finish it before the 12th. You're not going to wait till the day you have to pack up bags and get yourself ready to fly out to stress out yourself about this. No, man, I'm not going to done it from Friday, or from even earlier or over the weekend. So I'm not even worried. Right? You guys have 4 years of CSA, so you know how this story ends. All right. Advanced computing 2. What am I looking for? I'm looking for submissions. All right, guys. I will check the submissions. I usually will, because I haven't updated the table yet that shows the submissions. So the way that you do it is, if you notice when you see all of the class participation grades going, if you don't see yours, then you talk to me during class and say, "Sir, I was there and I'm not seeing whatever." All right, and then we deal with it that way. All
Okay.
right. Mm-hmm.
Okay, sir.
All right. Okay, guys. I guess this is goodbye. So I'll talk to you soon.
Bye, sir.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Have a good rest of the week.